runs towards the danger as everyone else is fleeing and jumps into the portal and goes to the world.
I am the one who sweeps.
I am
Skylar.
the one who sweeps. Oh no. Yep. This week, this is actually the Necromancy podcast because we have brought Chase back from the brink.
Yeah, it was a little touch and go. I've avoided it this long, and it feels like kind of the weirdest move to be getting COVID in 2022, but here we are.
Hey, it's a big brain move. You have 3 vaccinations. You've really stacked the deck in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's antiviral drugs now, so if it got really bad, you can take those. Yeah. And COVID has evolved to the point where, in Chase's words, it's just like the flu. It's just like the flu.
Okay,
this is what
I said this is
it's
different...
It's just the flu, baby.
I'm
Some
taking out of
conservative talking
context.
points over here.
Chase, known conservative and anti-vaxxer.
Chase Albee, known conservative. Wait, hold on. Is that actually Chut Buttby that I'm talking to right now?
I grow a mustache suddenly. It's me, Chut Buttby. Wah!
I like how his disguise isn't like wearing a mask. It's just shaving his mustache and then growing it through some sort of fell magic very quickly.
That's the Buttby way.
Strong words.
Anyway, I got COVID, so we'll see how good of a podcast this one is. It's either going to be unhinged or just like totally unlistenable. I'm not sure which one yet.
Yeah, I'm doing okay still.
Yeah, David's good. For all listeners at home, if you hear his voice and think, damn, that guy does not have COVID, you're correct.
You're correct.
He doesn't.
I've been testing negative all week.
Dodging coronavirus like he's in Contra, Galaga, Mario, video games.
Gaiden? That was my... bullet hell game. No, Gradius.
You know who was a designer on that game, David?
Who?
Hideo Kojima.
No shit.
Sure was.
Oh god, he's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
Goodness.
Hello, hi, it's Video Game Podtimism. It's the video... No. Okay, all right. A little first shot across the
brain fog. The brain fog. It's here. It's real, everybody.
It is the Optimists video game variety show where 2 best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase.
And my name is David.
And we're here to talk to you about how fucking cool video games are. That's the new part of the tagline that I'm doing now. My new funky bunch.
Rated R. That
Rated
tagline.
R. Was it? Did I say a curse in there?
You did.
Oh, God.
You said how fucking cool video games are.
Yikes. Yeah, I got to
It's
tone
okay.
it down.
It's okay, baby.
Yeah, it does say explicit on there, so
It
whoever's
does say explicit.
concerned about my foul language, I guess
People
I
knew.
apologize, but still, you were
It's fine.
warned. Hey, are you playing video games?
I have been playing video games.
I didn't even ask you the right question. I said, are you playing video games right now? Which is not the correct tense.
I am currently playing video games. I am dual tasking right now. I am podding and gaming at the same time. Wouldn't that be a thing?
That's it. Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
I'm not doing that. I'm lying.
What games have you been playing, David?
It's still game. It's still Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah. Tell me.
I can't stop.
I can't quit
I can't quit you, Elden Ring. I don't know what else there is to say. Where am I? I guess we'll just do an update.
Yeah.
Where am I in the ring? I'm on the Altus Plateau.
Okay, yeah.
For the longest time, I thought it said Atlas Plateau.
I thought that until this very moment, David.
It's ALTUS. It's Altus Plateau.
Huh, yeah.
I was mistaken for so long.
Yeah, you're right.
I know.
Cool.
So yeah, I've been mucking around in Mount Gelmir.
Okay, nice, cool.
I joined the Volcano Manor.
Yeah, cool area in there.
Cool area. Interesting that there's like little factions that are around. I've joined each one of them. I'm just a big himbo, just like saying yes to everybody. Like, oh yeah, I'll join your cause. We're fighting against the Erd Tree. Okay,
Fuck
cool.
it. Let's go.
I'm also part of the Round Table Hold, and we're part of like the people trying to bring back the Grace and the 2 fingers and everything like that. Cool, let's do that too. Let's do it all.
Fuck it.
Let's be everybody. Yeah. So yeah, it's still a very fun game. I'm making my way towards the capital now. I couldn't find the Snake Man. I couldn't find him. I don't know where to go in Mount Gelmir to get to him, but we'll find out eventually. The Snake Man.
The Snake Man. Oh, the big boss. Yeah.
Praetor Rykard. He's obviously a snakeman.
Yeah.
What if it's just David Hayter? That would be pretty cool.
What's up, Tarnished? Come fight me.
My
Got a
God.
metal sword. Grace?
Oh no. I couldn't find. I'll go back and I'll find him. But it obviously wants me to go to Lindell, wherever that is.
Yeah. I think the game generally does point you towards the capital, like first and foremost.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go muck around in there.
Nice.
I beat the 2 tree sentinels in front of the gates. That was
Oh
an
man,
intense
I don't
battle.
think I never did. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, I just ran past them. There's actually no. There's one that you need to get into the place, like period.
Yeah.
Like kind of around the side of the capital, but
Yeah.
those 2 that are right next to each other, I was like, no,
I took them on.
Damn.
I love horse battles. I love night battles.
Yeah, I mean, you are
Cavalry
Robert
battles.
Baratheon.
I am
in
Robert
this- in this
Baratheon.
playthrough.
All I saw was a Targaryen prince, and I just wanted to smash his chest in. So yeah, I'm in the capital, and things are looking up. I'm going and fighting all the dragons and shit. It's a good game. It's really fun. I play it for what feels like a couple minutes, and it's been 2 hours.
Yeah, it really slips away from you pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to play this game for maybe close to 100 hours looking at just my trajectory right now.
I think that's about where I landed with the first one. I've
It's
seen
a
people who can easily do like
girthy game.
I know, it's shocking. Like I feel like when I played through Persona, it was like a 100-hour game, and by the end of it, I was like, whew, that was a lot of Persona.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of Elden Ring, I was like, that was a normal amount of a video game, right? And then said, no, you have played for 100 hours, my friend.
I know. It's pretty impressive what they've done. Yeah, it's immaculate. The game's really great.
Yeah.
The one complaint I have is the frame rate. It's just still not quite there.
Really? I didn't notice that in my playthrough of it. Are you playing on the, what console are you playing on?
PS5.
Yeah, that's weird.
Feels jittery. Maybe it's because my TV's too good.
It's totally possible. I'm playing on,
May have to dumb down some of the settings. But other than that, let me think. Have I been playing anything else?
Yeah.
I played some Switch Sports. I'm always going to call it Wii Sports. I played some Switch Sports with my grad school friends over the weekend, this past weekend.
Oh, nice. How'd it go?
Really good. They were all very impressed by the way that I could curve the bowling ball. Yeah. So that's kind of a big deal. They all gasped when I did it. I was like, you got to do it like this. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty cool, but I had 1 pin left, so it wasn't a strike. So it wasn't like maximal coolness. It was like cool and then kind of let down. So you know how it goes sometimes. You got to swing for the fences, right?
I mean, if you got a gasp out of it, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know that the last time my gaming skills gave anyone such a fright.
Such a fright. They were terrified. They were quaking in their boots.
He's too powerful.
So that was fun. And then we also played a little bit of the volleyball, 2v2 volleyball, 4 people playing at once.
Pretty good.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty fun. Played some tennis. That was good too. When you're in the front, it doesn't feel like you do much unless you're really quick at just hogging all of the balls. So you could do that. But I think and then we played, the bowling. The bowling's so fun.
It's really good.
Bowling's so fun with people.
The challenge bowling, I played that a little bit online recently, and that was a lot of fun where the lanes are all fucked up. Have you played this at all?
We were playing that a little bit. Yeah. And they went straight for the hardest difficulty. And I'm just like, there are so many obstacles and it goes up at the end. The whole lane does. I'm like, I don't know how to manage this right now, guys.
It's good. It was a good game time.
It's still a very fun game. Check it out if you have a Switch. Yeah.
That's your David Weekly recommendation.
How about you? I bet you've probably had ample free time to play games.
David,
Or were you just dying the whole time?
Okay, so a quick preamble on video game section here. There was a pretty significant amount of time where I was able to play games, which is a real relief. Listen, I never like being sick. It always kind of stinks. Yeah. But there's a little bit of I'm cool with feeling a little bad if I can literally play games for 5 days straight. Whenever I had a cold when I was a kid, I would milk the hell out of that.
Of course.
I'm sick. I gotta stay home. Mm-hmm. And would just play Dark Cloud for 100 hours in a single week or something like that.
Sounds about right.
It was really good. So there were a few moments where it was yes, I'm not feeling great, not feeling good at all. But Steam Deck's here, gonna play some of that. Mm-hmm. Which is it was really nice. So. Yes, you are correct in your assumption that there's a lot of video games to be played here. I was very into this time.
Good.
In fact, I played so many that I kind of chopped down the list a little bit to the most significant of the ones rather than I played a lot of games.
You've had a week.
I've had a week, and like most of that was spent in bed.
Damn.
Like the recently played in Steam is sizable. However, I did want to start with a promise from last episode. I had played Need for Speed Underground 2 last time. And I was saying we can't really get into singing Lil Jon and the East Side Boys because that is a Need for Speed 1. However...
Are you welcoming me in, Chase?
I'm welcoming you in. I played Need for Speed Underground 1 this week, David. I watched this entire music video the other day. It was very good.
Oh my god. How early 2000s is it?
Very, very early 2000s. Like there is a lot of stuff going on in there.
I mean, I feel like that might be the most like early 2000s song.
It's
around.
possible. Yeah. Just absolutely ridiculous. Sounds so bizarre in hindsight, but like still goes, dude. That song still goes.
It's got an engine that don't quit.
Yeah,
that song. It keeps going.
So I was interested to play this because I found that returning to Need for Speed Underground 2 was interesting, but it didn't hold up as well as I had remembered it. Like I really remember the second one being the game that I was like, hell yeah, way into this. This is like clearly the better one. And I think I found out why. In the first one, and I didn't realize this upon playing the second one, but in the first one, it is not an open world game in the way that the second one is.
Sure.
Like in the second game, you have to drive from each event to another, and there's like garages that you have to go to if you want to tune your shit up. The first one's not that. It's just menus and races. So like if you want to do any of the races, you just load into a menu and click it and go through, and it brings you directly to the race and you do it. And so I think at the time, because there was so much of the emphasis on like open world games being like the thing, everybody wanted to be GTA, that like I was impressed at the time by the fact that number 2 was like that form of video game. And so I was just like smitten. But in hindsight, it doesn't like shine as well just because that genre has like come a long ways, especially with something like Forza Horizon 5, where like there is so much on the way from each event to the next, whereas it felt kind of empty in hindsight for the second one.
Sure.
However, what that means for me, at least in my experience of playing the first one, is that I really like this game a lot more as a result.
Great.
I think it aged a lot better than for Speed Underground 2.
Sure.
I think because I don't have to drive from each place to place, like I'm not as focused on the world, which is fine. Like the game doesn't look phenomenal, but I will say it looks a lot better than the second one in hindsight.
Really?
I think it's because the second
game... They didn't have to render a whole open world?
It's partially that. I think also the second one tries to like not color correct, but just like put color filters all over it, so it has this like kind of moody vibe to it, whereas the first one, like the visuals are pretty clean, all things considered.
Sure.
And so like there's not as much of a focus on like hitting the mid 2000s tone with the color palette.
The mid 2000s tone. Oh my gosh.
That like the like very weird green that is just applied to like most of the second game.
Sure.
This one's kind of just a racing game, and like
underground green.
Yes, no, exactly. And so I love that. Also, I really like that you can kind of only have one car at a time. Didn't remember this at all, but like if you want to drive another car, and like there's only like 10 that you can really like choose from, you have to like trade your vehicle in, which is something totally foreign to like every modern racing game.
Sure.
Most modern racing games will give you like 100 cars immediately.
Yeah.
And like it's supposed to feel like this kind of like Swiss Army knife where you can choose whatever car suits your situation the best. But I really like that you have to like dig in and get good with your Miata or whatever. Yeah. Like it's like you kind of develop this like relationship with your car. And even to the extent that like the modifications that you put on the car, like the neon that can go underneath the car.
Ooh, that neon, baby.
Those things all come with you whenever you change cars. So it's like even your little personal touches that you've been making over the course of the game, if you trade it in, they immediately get applied to your new car. So like it still kind of feels like your own, even when you're switching them around, which I just really love. Not to mention, I totally forgot about this, but you're explicitly encouraged to mod your car in that way because you get more points. Like your reputation points go up.
I didn't know you got more points if you
yeah, if
you have neon.
Yeah, your reputation goes up if you like have body modifications on your car.
I mean, if I see someone racing down the street with body mods on their car, I'm like, respect to that guy.
Cool as hell. Damn.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of encouraged to make this like Frankenstein vehicle that like it forces you down the avenue of like, you need to make this look like an early 2000s awful modded street car.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of fun that they've gamified like the taste aspect of it, because you could easily just want to be like, no, I want a stock car that's painted white, but the game is like, well, it's fine, but like you get more points if you do more body mods. I'm like, okay,
if you do something cool with it,
if you do something, put a big sticker of like Billabong on the side of your car.
Ooh, Billabong. Oh my god, Vans.
I actually don't know if Vans was in this one. They really should have been, though. They may have been too busy with Tony Hawk at the time.
Probably.
I will say also that the soundtrack in this one feels a lot better than in the second one. There's a lot of like songs and bands that I'm like, these people have like stood the test of time a little bit better.
Sure.
You know, I know that the joke of Get Low is present in this segment,
but it's always good.
It's always good. The music in there is like, it's pretty good, and I think it's tailor made a little bit with songs that typically play after you're done with a race, songs that play in the menus, songs that play during a race, and I think they work pretty well for like what the game is going for. It's a lot of like upbeat and like sort of literally driving music when you're racing, and then like kind of chiller stuff afterwards. Whereas I don't remember the second one being quite as like tailored in that way. Plus they had a bunch of like original songs, which I really loved. P.D. Pablo's Need for Speed, which I sent to you.
I got the need for speed.
Yeah, which I texted
I
her.
forgot that one.
I got the need for speed. That one, and was it TI or 24s, which is like just it's a hard listening experience, that song. It doesn't sound so good on my ears.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Point being, like, I think a lot of the music feels a lot more appropriate, and like they have curated it a little bit more than the second one, which kind of felt like we're just kind of throwing stuff against the wall here.
Yeah.
So in a total shift, like I feel like typically, at least in my experience, the curse that movies have where like the sequel is not as good as the original is really not always the case with video games. Like a lot of the time sequels are a little bit better because like you just have more time. You understand your systems a little bit more. It's not always the case, but like I think in a lot of situations, like people take the time to understand the games that they're developing a little bit more with sequels and like come back with something that's like truly great, right?
Yeah, I think at least back in that time of video games, it felt like the first one would be like, okay, we just created this framework on which to make something. And now we actually have more time to and now we know the framework, and then we can really make something pretty cool on top of it.
I think about like the Ratchet and Clank games, the Sly Cooper games, like even though Jak 2 is pretty different than Jak 1, like even that series, like all of the second and third entries in those series are all like, damn, these are really good games. Whereas the first one, like, while still good and groundbreaking, is like kind of a proof of concept for the other games.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas in this one, like the first one has aged a lot better to me than the second one has.
It's interesting.
I was like way more interested in playing through a lot of races in this one, which I did. I'm like, I don't know, like halfway through the game at this point. And it's like, it's a pretty long game. There's like, I think 110 races that you have to do like to beat the game.
In Underground 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of races.
It's a lot. For whatever reason, it gives you that statistic whenever you're playing through it. It's like, this is race 63 of, 113 or whatever. And so you're always kind of like able to project out how much longer the game is going to be. But anyway, point being, it's pretty lengthy. And so I don't know, it just demands to be played a lot more than Need for Speed Underground 2 did. It's interesting. I was way into it.
Nice. Wait, did you say that I shimmied to that song before?
Yeah, at some point when we were younger, we were playing this game, and P. Pablo's I Got Need for Speed came on, and however old you were at the time, started shimmying, like shoulder shimmy.
Like this?
Yeah.
Got the Need for Speed.
Yeah, exactly. And for whatever reason, whenever that song comes on, that is the imagery that is immediately bound to my mind, is David shimmying. Because it's a pretty ridiculous song, all things considered.
A ridiculous song deserves a ridiculous shimmy to go along with it.
It's very middle school us to take a song from a video game and do a very dumb dance about it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
It sounds about right for current us, too.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of come back around. Yeah, it was cool. I liked playing through this game. And that was sort of my early couple of days with COVID. However, as I moved on, I needed a salve for my ailing soul.
Sure.
My painful experience.
Uh-huh.
And I had to turn to somebody familiar, David.
Is it Nier Automata?
No. Damn, that would be a brutal experience to play through in COVID.
I thought you were going to say because Garen was playing it recently.
Oh, no. No, it's Megaman Legends 2, David.
Oh, your buddy.
My good friend Megaman Legends.
That is your buddy.
I just love these games. They're so fucking good.
Mega Man Battle Network next.
That's not a bad idea. Fire it up on just a big old Steam Deck screen, way bigger than it needs to be. Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing it on the Steam Deck. It's interesting. So I played Mega Man Legends 1 a while back for the show. I can't remember exactly when that was. I think earlier this year. And the takeaway there was mostly just that like I still loved this game. I loved the like optimistic and bright tone that it brought. The like gameplay I think is interesting. Like the actual mechanics of it are like kind of this like dungeon crawling thing, which is fun, and like it gives you an incentive to go and like do that so that you can like buy more shit for Mega Man, and like a lot of it has this like tangible effect on a lot of the mechanics, which is really neat. And yeah, like I think the first one like does it holds up for me pretty well, insofar as like if you can stomach the PlayStation 1 graphics. It does look pretty dated, but at the same time it's got this like very bright and like nearly anime-ish style to it, that because it's not just like polygons, it's like this texture painted onto somebody's face. I think it looks pretty good. I think it has aged pretty well. So anyway, booted up the second one, and it weirdly enough starts in like a much more dour tone than the first one. Not in like a bad way. It doesn't stick around for very long, and like the visual style is still very much like bright, like happy, so it's not overwhelming, but you like start in like a snow level essentially, so like it's all just like kind of cold and bitter for a second. But I will say like pretty much immediately the story is like way more interesting than the first one.
So you're saying Red Dead Redemption 2 stole their opening from Mega Man Legends 2?
Yeah, I think so. I think Arthur Morgan was actually a side character in Mega Man Legends 1, and they stole that. I think they stole that character.
Arthur.
God. So, yeah, it's fun. Like I was trying to think about what I could actually say about this game that would be significant at all. Essentially, like the story is a little bit more engaging. They have like more stakes, because I think the first one is wrapped around a lot of like mystery of the world, like the world that they're presenting. And so like just unraveling like, what is this place? Why is it the way that it is? Like, it seems like the world is sort of living on these like disconnected islands from one another, sort of suggesting that there is at some point like some kind of like collapse on the planet, and then like these are the people who live there now.
I love a good implied apocalypse.
Yes, no, yeah, very Breath of the Wild, very like Elden Ringy.
Yeah,
which is, it's fun, and I think especially with the tone that they put forth of this like very happy-go-lucky stuff, like the music in it is all just like chipper as fuck. Everybody's genuinely like, yeah, this is great. Everything's cool. And like, even the bad guys are like kind of like Team Rocket adjacent of, they're not that bad, you know, like they're just trying to like take over and like make money and shit like that. But they're like mustache twirling bad guys. So
sure,
it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And so I think in exploring that, it was fun in the first one just to kind of like, you know, dig around in the world and figure out what's going on. Whereas in this one, like, because the world has a little bit more stakes and is a little bit more grounded, given the first part of the first game, you do have to kind of like figure out where to go from there. And I think they do make it interesting, but I guess that there is some of the allure lost to being able to like get in your ship and fly somewhere else, right? Like the world is a little bit more open, but at the same time, like there is still a lot of cool stuff. The levels are all like very different, and the people that you go and hang out with are all very different. So that's really cool. It's also like the structure of it, I think, is a little bit more video gamey. Insofar as like in the very beginning of the game, they're like, we need you to find these 4 keys to go unlock a big door. And like each of the keys are buried in a dungeon somewhere. So you got to go like dig those out. Right.
Sure.
And like, that's fine. I have no problem with that being the case. I think in the first one, it was a lot more like there are dungeons when the story demands there to be dungeons. Like,
sure.
And so like, I don't know that either one of those is better. I think the first one leads to a lot more of like it feeling like an adventure, and this one feeling like this is a video game.
Yeah.
Which is fine, right? Like I think the mechanics are still fun. Like actually shooting Reaver bots as Mega Man is still pretty good. And like the tone is just so like nice to soak in that it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I think overall I kind of prefer the first one if I was gonna like put that stamp on it. But I think they're both still very good games. And like
once again, preferring the first. Chase
it's very bizarre.
Hipster over here. I like the original better.
I think in games that were doing a lot of like bizarre stuff at the time and like really throwing stuff against the wall, like it would make sense to like kind of prefer one over the other. And like I said, most of these games that I listed before, the Ratchet and Clanks, the Sly Coopers, I all prefer the like second and third entries in those. But I think that the tone and the story that they hit in the first one just like works a little bit better for me. But I could also totally see like if somebody were to pick up either one of them, that the second one might click better to somebody who like doesn't have the same connection or like nostalgia for the first series.
Sure.
Just because like it's a lot more clear what you need to do, and it's a lot more like structured like a typical video game that you would find. So like
gotcha.
that part of it is present.
Okay.
So yeah, still having a great time though. Like it's still great stuff.
Nice.
So anyway, after I was through the doldrums of my COVID experience, I came out wanting for new experiences, for
sure
something new and interesting. I played a ton of games, but the one that I want to talk about the most is this game called Hardspace Shipbreaker. So let's see, a couple things. Just to like set a little bit of a stage, I'm on a kick right now with the Expanse series, the books.
Sure.
Way into it. I'm listening to them on audiobook, and just like every waking moment, I'm like, I could put on the Expanse right now and just like listen to what's going on in there. For anybody who hasn't read it, it's like a kind of like quote unquote hard sci-fi series. A lot of it's like rooted in actual things that could happen. Like it's a plausible future for where we sit right now. Whereas like, something like Star Wars is like much more rooted in like fantasy, right? Like there's space magic and space swords and shit like that. Whereas this one's like, it's kind of classic quote unquote science fiction. I'm again worried about stepping on people's genre toes, but point being, I like the series and I'm enjoying it.
Step on those toes, baby. Just say your bit.
Yeah. And I was looking around at games, and somebody in the review section of this game, Hardspace Shipbreaker, had mentioned two things. One, that it's coming out soon. It was in early access, I think in 2020, and then just a couple of days ago came out of early access and did their like full 1.0 release. And they said, hey, if you like stuff like The Expanse, you should play this game. And I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm ready to roll. Essentially, the conceit of the game is, I think on paper, they describe it as a simulation game. I think it's a lot more than that, but that's maybe the genre that is closest to it.
Sure.
Essentially, the way that the game plays out just mechanically is that you are tasked with, you have like a spaceship that you need to take apart into its component bits and like sort them into different boxes, right? So the big sheets of metal that wrap around the spaceship usually go into the processing bucket because they can reuse those.
Sure.
The like interior skeleton that's just made out of metal goes into the furnace because they'll just burn it up and turn it back into, aluminum
more stuff.
Or whatever. Yeah, more stuff. And then there's a lot of stuff that can go into the barge, like any of the airlocks that you pull out are reusable and they can resell those.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much the game. Is you are given a spaceship and you have to take it apart with a series of tools, and it's all in like null G, so you're just floating around this thing.
It's like a first-person game?
Yes, it's a first-person game. You've got like a couple of tools, like a grapple that you can pull things apart with, a like, not soldering iron, but like a cutter, essentially, to take apart parts of the ship. You can like splice them and cut them in different sections.
Like a Dead Space?
Oh, yes. No, it reminds me a lot of like a form of Dead Space where it's like a laser that'll shoot up and down, or you can shoot horizontally.
Yeah. He's an engineer, I think, so it's the same concept, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's also just like a laser you can shoot, because there's a way that a lot of these ships break down is that there are a bunch of like joints that are in the ship that if you go find them, like if you go dig into the ship, you'll find these like yellow jointings that if you shoot them and like laser them and break them, that the ship sort of just like comes apart naturally. So just that part of it is very intriguing to me, because it's like that part of the game feels like I was trying to figure out like what other game or what other experiences this feel like, because it ends up kind of being a puzzle of like I need to go get in there and figure out where to go and like how to do this. But it feels like the opposite experience of building a Lego, where like you have like not instructions, but you kind of know what you need to do. Like there are only so many points on this ship that'll come apart naturally. And so you kind of have to like diagnose it, look at it, solve this puzzle, for lack of a better phrase, to take it apart in a way that, you know, makes sense. And there's a lot of ways to fuck up. So like it is possible to fail, right? Anyway, so I really like that part of it, but there is also a lot of other shit that is layered onto it that I like think is the thing that takes this game from like a fun, interesting game to like absolutely the next like little strata of interesting.
Wow.
So the very beginning of the game, you start up and it presents you with like some person reading their like email, essentially. It's just in first person still. And it sends you, this company called Blinx sends you this email saying like, hey, you've been accepted into our Shipbreaker program.
It's actually future Zelda.
Yeah, Link. No, it's Lynx. So like the cat. You open up this email and it's like, hey, you've been accepted in this program. You can come be a shipbreaker. And essentially what that is like essentially the job I was explaining before, right? You are this person who goes and lives on this like orbital platform where you've got a little like house essentially that you live in, and they bring ships to your platform. You break them apart and, you know, sort the stuff out. So it's like kind of a dangerous job, but conceptually pretty lucrative because people do this. And it, you know, sort of steps you through these like onboarding steps, which are all like split the difference of being like like funny in spots and also like, God damn, this is like not that far from reality. I think it approaches the same kind of humor that like Portal does in the way that like it is just this like absurd corporate hellscape.
Yeah.
It is not nearly
probably
as
what it's like to work at SpaceX or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. It is not nearly as absurd as Portal is, because like a lot of it's like, congratulations, you didn't burn in a fire or whatever, you know, like it's all very like tongue in cheek. But this one is like, it's funny because it is like just a degree to the right of what it is right now, right? Like it's ridiculous, but you're also like, oh Jesus, this is like kind of similar. So you're laughing, but it's also reminds you of a similar space, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you go through that. And after you sign the contract, it like brings up this like calculator of all the debts that you've accrued just by signing on to Lynx. And it's like, you know, your fee for the signing, your fee for being transported up to the mainframe, your fee for blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you know, 1.8 trillion credits or something like that. Like it's an absurd amount of money.
So you're a slave.
Right. Like they have taken you and put you in this place and like you signed up for it. And it potentially could be lucrative if you do it for long enough, but you're immediately like in debt. And it also comes with the understanding of this program that Lynx does where they like take your like DNA, I guess, so that if you die on the frame, they can just like recreate you right there, which is kind of how they get around like if you fuck up badly enough to throw yourself in the furnace, you can respawn essentially. And so like, you know, that part of the process is particularly expensive, but point being that it like from the jump, you're in extreme debt. It's like the very real part of Animal Crossing, right? Like Tom Nook pops out and is like, hey dude, sorry you wanted to be a shipbreaker, but here's all this money you owe me. And so you go up and, you know, you start onboarding into this place, and like this dude named Weaver, like he's essentially your tutorial, right? Like he comes out and explains to you like, hey, here's how things work. And it's more than just like, here's how to cut a ship apart. It's like, also, here's how things work. Here's how we call this here. And like, he is not a face for the company, right? Like he's not somebody who's like totally drinking the Kool-Aid, but he's not totally against the company. He's just like, you know, try not to die so much. Like that's how they kind of keep you in debt. So like, you know, just be careful out there.
Sure.
That sort of stuff. And essentially the game works on this cycle where you will get a new ship, you will break it apart, start sorting it into different components or different bins. If you damage any of the components, it like counts against you and you get docked pay and shit like that.
Sure.
And, you know, the better you do, the more money you get, the more you can pay down your debt. And like the more that you have like these points to upgrade your tools and shit like that. However, almost immediately what starts happening is that there's another coworker of yours named Lou, who you only speak to like radio, I guess. You're never face to face with these people, but there's a handful of other coworkers, and Lou like messages you after one of your shifts at some point, is like, hey, like, I can tell you're cool. Just heads up, I wanted to add you to this email list, and it's other Lynx employees who are all trying to form a union. Just like, don't don't tell anybody about this, right? Like be cool about it.
This really is like Amazon or Tesla or something.
It's shocking the timing of this game because like unions are a big like topic right now.
Sure are.
And like rightfully so. But it's interesting because this game went into early access in 2020 and they're releasing now. And like it feels like they're kind of striking while the iron is hot because that ends up being the main sort of thrust of the story here.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
It's so interesting. And like I was saying before, I think that when I'm playing through a lot of these simulation games, and I played a few now, right? Like, you know, I don't know that Satisfactory is exactly the same thing, but it's got a similar vibe of like you're just this worker in a larger system. And, you know, Satisfactory is fun because the mechanics are good. And same thing with a lot of the other simulation games. But I found that like something that I really wish simulation games would do is like say something. Like they're usually pretty light, the message of these video games, right? Satisfactory does it a little bit in the beginning, just a little with like, you know, your ship starts to kind of break up and they treat you like an asset. But for the majority of the game, like 95% of it, you are not thinking about the story that is currently going on, or even the narrative or the structure of the world or anything like that. But something that I think these games are in this like simulation genre are uniquely positioned to do is tell stories that put you in the space where you have to consider like the structure of the world that you're living in.
Yeah.
And especially this one where like you are so deeply in debt, it seems to be possible that you could make enough money to pay off your debt. Eventually, one of the people who you work for is like, hey, like I bought a ship a while ago, but my body's not like in good enough condition to use it or fix it anymore. And so I want you to have it. Right? Like you should just take this. And so you're kind of presented with this off ramp, right? Of like, I could fix the ship and leave, you know, go out to like the Jovian system or something, or like go break rocks out in like, you know, the belt or whatever. So it seems like there is a world where you could not have to work for this company for the rest of your life. And sort of the off ramp of this union thing of like, you could risk your life and do that, or you can just keep your head down and like keep breaking ships because like, you know, at the base part of this game, it is fun to break ships. Like it is very fun to like go in and treat it like a puzzle and like be a little bit cautious and careful and methodical about like doing this. And not to mention like if you don't do that, it is dangerous. Like parts of the ship might be still pressurized. And so if you cut into something that you're not thinking about, like a whole bunch of shit might just come out and fly at you as it's vented into space. Or, you know, if you tether something into the furnace and it's moving in a way that you don't account for, it could actually just pull you in there, right? So like you do have to be careful with a lot of this shit. And so it's fun to play the game, but also is it makes itself very clear like what the structure of this place is. And how you can think about that, which is just something that I don't, you know, God of War couldn't do that, right? Like God of War is they couldn't make a good argument for a union in that video game. But I don't know, maybe Kratos could.
The other gods are unionizing against Kratos for killing them all. Fuck you, Kratos. Stop killing us.
But this game can. And I think that like a lot of these simulation games could say a lot of shit about like, you know, work and stuff like that, because you know, as much as these games are fun, they are closer to work than like, you know, something built strictly for entertainment purposes, right? Like, you know, it's a lot farther away from like adventure games or something like that, or Skyrim or something like that. And so I like I said, I think they've just got such a unique position to do that. And I'm always surprised that that's not the case, that like people aren't choosing to like bite down on that. But this game does. And I think that that's really, really cool. It's a very, very interesting story that they're telling. And like, you know, obviously I'm a supporter of unions and think that that is a thing that should happen. And I just think it's a very well told way to go about putting you in the position where you have to weigh that for yourself in the game. Which, you know, it's not going to take a PhD to tell you that you're then going to reflect on your own life, right? And be like, I work in a capitalist system and it is kind of brutal sometimes. And a lot of the companies that I know about are not particularly fond of the people that work for them and structure in a way that, you know, you could work for this place for a long time, but you might not, right? Your boss Weaver had said that like, at some point, he stopped being able to get cloned correctly. Like, something happened, and he's like, I had to get like, you know, put into management because I couldn't break ships anymore. Like, it wasn't a thing that I could do. And so, like,
God,
something happened, right?
That's a terrifying phrase.
Yes, yeah.
I'm so not myself anymore that I can't get cloned again.
Yeah, it's frightening. And so like I think all of that is just really well done. So yeah, the game owns.
Support your unions, baby.
Support your unions and play Hardspace Shipbreaker. It's good. I can't emphasize enough about how fun it is to disassemble these ships. It's very
Sounds
good.
fun.
It's very
big
good.
3D puzzle.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's like this thing is together and you sort of just have to like pull and poke and prod until it comes apart, right? It's fascinating. I will say that the only thing that I don't like about this game, which is a definite me problem, is that I cannot play it for very long without getting motion sick. Because it's very good about making you feel like you were in null gravity, right?
It's too immersive.
Yeah, you'll be rolling around the ship, moving yourself, and at some point you'll unlock one of the walls and push it out a little bit, and then like up is down where you thought it was going to be up, and so you have to like rotate yourself back around. It's just like sort of mind-boggling.
Can you play it in VR? Is it a VR game?
God, David, I would not even want to know if it was. I would immediately vomit if that was the case. I would not be able to hang with that one. Anyway, yeah, it's awesome. I think this is a really cool game. It's definitely one of the better games I've played this year. I don't know if it's better than like Elden Ring, but like I think the stuff that it is doing in the genre is like really impressive and something that
pushing the envelope.
It's pushing the envelope in a way that like I don't know that a lot of other sim games do. And so, yeah, I think just for that
you
alone,
haven't played Farming Simulator 2022.
They could be saying something about farming.
You wait.
Yeah, there might be a really hard.
There's going to be a very intense QAnon subplot in that one.
You have to convince all your other farmer bros to get vaccinated.
No, it just demonstrates how easy it is to radicalize people who live on their own.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Away from society.
You like do better at farming if you just like don't think about Facebook very hard.
You're forced to listen to Alex Jones for like the whole entire time that you're tractoring or whatever it is.
It's hellish.
Plowing your field.
That's a hell game, David. That's so bad. Anyway, this will bring me to my Podtimistic thing, David.
Mm-hmm.
It's jetpacks.
Ooh, baby, say no more. Oh my goodness.
Love a jetpack. You got a good one in this game. Got a good one in Hardspace.
Mm-hmm.
But like, God, there's a lot of good ones.
GTA
had a great
Secret
jetpack.
Jetpacks.
Jet Force Gemini. Oh yeah,
ooh,
absolutely.
That was in unison. Oh my gosh. Wow.
That was a good one.
What
was the Star Wars game on N64 that had a jetpack? You like had some kind of like Shadows of the Empire.
Hey, I was pretty close.
Yeah, you were.
Something of the Empire. Yeah, no, that game had a pretty good jetpack in it too.
Dash Rendar, my boy.
Dash Rendar. What a name. But yeah, I love a good jetpack's great. I feel like there haven't been a lot of jetpack games recently. Like where a jetpack is like central to the game. We've had like lots of slingshots or like grapple hooks and and like gliders. Gliders are big right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I haven't had a jetpack in a while.
Are we going to count Super Mario Sunshine as a jetpack?
I would say so.
It kind of feels like it, right?
It's like one of those hydro jetpacks.
I feel like it does.
Yeah, that definitely counts.
Nice. That one was a good one. Titanfall 2 had a pretty good jetpack.
Ooh, yeah, little bursties.
Like that a lot. Hey, do you have something fueling your sense of optimism, David?
Yeah, I do have something that is fueling my video game optimism for the week.
What is it, David?
It's sharing a good game with a good friend.
Oh, hell yeah. Talk to me about this. What do you mean?
I just really am enjoying Garen talking about his time playing Nier Automata.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun to see how he's interacting with the game, how he's enjoying it, what parts stick out to him. And it's been a while since I played this game, so I'm like, maybe I should go back and play it and beat the super secret boss, as Garen calls it. Because that game rips. As
it does
Chase
rip.
says.
It's very good. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just fun to experience it again through somebody else. Yeah.
No, totally. I love hearing whenever somebody's like, hey, I decided to pick up this Dark Souls game or something like that. Or like anything that I'm just absolutely obsessed with. I'm like, yes, please. Please tell me about Bloodburn, Yeah, it's true. When you were playing through Bloodborne, I was like, yes, I love this.
Join me on the hunt.
I wonder if there will ever be an episode where we don't make a joke about Bloodborne.
There's been a lot where we have made Bloodborne jokes.
Yes.
Do you think it's been every one?
David, my brain is broken. So my memory at this point is not
brain
working.
fog, baby.
Hey, do you want to move on to our main thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Hey,
It's good games.
it's good games. We're here.
The segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear and gush all the things that we love about them.
Emphasis on okayest this week.
Okayest. Wow. Got an okay one. This is going to be challenging. I want to say at the top, this is going to be a challenge for me.
I was shocked that you wanted to play this one despite your sickness. I thought that this would be too confusing. Like, it's a fever dream of a game to play.
It was, David. It was challenging and felt like a fever dream.
Uh-huh.
We are, of course, talking about Blinx the Timesweeper.
Yes, it's finally happening.
It's finally happening. And I realized that it is easy to dunk on this game. It's very often done on the internet.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to come into this as earnestly as I possibly could to be like, let me find the gold in Blinx.
Uh-huh.
I think there are some nuggets. I think there's some stuff in there.
Yeah, there's some veins.
My man, I had to dig. I had to dig.
It's not easy.
Anyway, let me hit you with a few hot stats before we get ahead of
please.
ourselves.
Let's do it.
Hot stats. Blinx the Timesweeper was released October 8th of 2002 in North America for the original Xbox. This is like a year after the release of the console itself, so it's still kind of in the launch window. I remember this game being marketed pretty heavily. Like, I remember seeing it a lot, and I had read that they were hoping that this would be another mascot, like for
They
Xbox.
were really hoping that Blinx was going to be a thing.
Which is hilarious in hindsight, because they were like, no, Master Chief's not going to work. He like just has the visor and nobody's going to recognize him. It's like not good enough. We need a spunky little cat.
A spunky cat that doesn't speak any known language?
I had to... yeah, hold on. We'll get there. This game was made by Artoon, the game company that is mostly based in Japan. They made the great hits, David, like Ghost Vibration, Ghost Trap, The World of Golden Eggs Nori Nori Rhythm Kai, Fling Smash, and Away Shuffle Dragon.
Away Shuffle Dragon is a very fun name.
Yeah, it does.
It's a very fun name to say.
I agree. It
Away, Shuffle Dragon.
Sounds like something Gandalf would say.
Which I do like that. But I've played none of these games. I don't know any other games that they've
It seems like they have a little Ghost mini franchise going on there for a hot second.
Ghost Vibration, Ghost Trap. Yeah, love them both. I do have a review from our friends over at Joe Video of Blinx the Timesweeper.
All right.
I've taken their review, which was originally in French. I've run it through Google Translate a bunch and mangled it. So we can get a nice little sampling of what they had to say.
I'm curious.
Blink and You'll Miss It is a subtitle of this review. It's really short.
Oh.
Blinks and You'll Miss It.
I was about to say Blinks and You'll Miss It, yeah.
Yeah. Joe Video said, there is a big reason to deceive, but the title isn't enough. We always complain. Despite the clear rules of the game, the flashing players did not follow them. Very sad. 12 out of 20.
12 out of 20. Ooh. Yeesh.
It felt like a tweet. I felt like that was a tweet that they sent about this game. Especially the ending being very sad.
A tweet of someone who only speaks in riddles.
We always complain. What are you saying, Joe? But yeah, they did not like this game very much.
No, that's a failing grade.
Yeah.
Failing grade.
I actually get the sense Joe Video is kind of a tough reviewer. Over the time that we've done it, they rarely give games very good scores.
That's true. They're maybe what was that? What was the magazine that was supposed to be really tough? Xbox Gaming Monthly, or whatever it was.
I don't know. I don't remember which one had that rep.
I think that was the one that only gave out, like, if you got a 9 from that one, it was like, oh my god, this game's amazing.
Yeah,
sort of deal. But I forget which one that was.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to pull the reviews from Joe because they were such a low grading place, because like initially in this segment, I was like, well, we can say, no, I disagree. It's a good game. But now it's just become part of the DNA.
It's just part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Joe Video review.
Yeah. Shouts out to Joe, I think. I don't know anything about this company. Hey, could you explain?
Their parent company is Activision Blizzard.
No. Could you explain to me what Blinx the Timesweeper is, David?
Yes. So Blinx the Timesweeper, as Chase alluded to, is Microsoft's attempt at making a mascot for the original Xbox. So you are starring Blinx, who is a cat.
Mm-hmm.
He is a talking, I guess, not in any human language.
Yeah, don't understand. I had to go and check my language. I was like, oh, did I have this on some language that I didn't know?
Yeah. No.
They do not speak in any language.
Yeah, it sounds like some sort of weird, like, sim speak. Almost,
yeah, exactly.
Like sim gibberish.
Yeah.
So that was very off-putting at first. But you are Blinx. You are a time sweeper, which is this organization that monitors time anomalies, essentially.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
And apparently when a time anomaly happens, it turns into a time gem on a planet. And if too many time gems are next to each other, they create monsters. Big scary monsters.
Time monsters.
Time monsters, yes.
Yeah.
So you have to go through little portals in your hub headquarters to then sweep up time gems before they turn into time monsters and therefore protect the universe.
Yeah, with a literal vacuum, I will say.
A literal time-sucking vacuum.
Yeah.
So, of course, there's also bad actors in this world, gangs, who will go and collect these time gems and sell them on the black market for what have you. And so the beginning of the game is Blinx all explaining this, and then one of these gangs creating essentially a catastrophe on a world, a catastrophe of epic proportions.
Tom gang.
The Tom gang go to this planet and start just wreaking havoc and creating like a lot of time anomalies, a lot of time gems, and a lot of time monsters because they just want to steal all the time gems that they can.
Yep.
But they're also in the process getting whammed on by these time monsters. And over the loudspeakers, it's like, hey, this world is about to explode. Everybody get out. Everybody, all the time sweepers on this world, leave because this place is going down.
They're essentially going to quarantine it. Like they're going to cut it off from, I think, like the grand timeline.
They were going to cut it off
like
from the grid because it was going to explode.
Yeah,
and everyone was going to die. And you get one last transmission from the world, and it's this princess who's like fighting the Tom gang, and she's all spunky and saying like, "I'm gonna let's fight, let's get these guys, let's do it." And Blinx looks at her, and like there's just hearts all around his face, and that's all the exposition you get for why he risks his life to go to this planet because he's trying to save this princess that he falls in love with immediately.
He's essentially like awooga, and like that kicks off the game.
Yes, awooga in not so vibrant a awooga as like on Looney Tunes, but it's essentially the Blinx version of awooga. It was pretty ridiculous. But he runs towards the danger as everyone else is fleeing and jumps into the portal and goes to the world.
I am the one who sweeps.
I am the one who sweeps. Oh no. Walter Blinx.
Walt the Timesweeper.
I am the time monster. God. And you get transported to a world where all of the controls are backwards.
What?
Did you have that issue?
No.
All the controls were inverted.
What?
On my unless I had like a weird like aneurysm or something.
Like you pressed up and you went down?
Both directions. X and Y axis were inverted to as default.
Whoa.
And I didn't know how to change it. I was so confused. I can handle Y-axis, but X-axis, bro?
Oh, wait, the camera?
Yes.
Yeah. No, the camera was fucked. I had no idea how to control that thing.
What?
I thought you meant Blinx. Like when you moved Blinx,
no,
you went
you
the
were
wrong
thinking
way.
You were like, oh my God, were they so out of it? I didn't realize. No, that part is normal, which made it even more kind of off-putting that camera was totally inverted.
The only thing I could do with the camera, I was like, I'm just going to try and ignore this as best I can. Like move it as little as possible when I'm playing through the game.
Yeah.
Because it's befuddling. Trying to move that thing around is not easy.
Sorry, we need to focus on what we liked. Let's get off the camera.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, that is Blinx.
Uh-huh.
Essentially, the the structure of the game is that you go through these levels.
You collect coins, or you collect the time gems, and if you get 3 of a certain type, you can do a certain action.
Correct, yeah, like pausing time or rewinding or like slowing time
Slowing
a little
down,
bit.
stuff like that, creating like a duplicate of yourself to do something.
Right, and you have to like destroy monsters as a way to beat the level.
Yeah, you have to collect these gems to fight the monsters, and you can suck up objects around in the environment to fire at the monsters as well.
Yeah.
And you essentially go through the level, and then there's a boss at the end, and you beat the boss. But each level also has a high score kind of deal to it, right? So you're trying to like beat your best time through it. You're trying to get like all little secret cat medallions or whatever they are. So it has this element of the levels are very short, like 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're pretty quick.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to like it's designed for you to play them repeatedly to get better scores.
Yeah, totally ignored that. My COVID brain could not try to get a high score. I was like, no, I'm just going to play the game.
No, I feel like maybe I felt like I had COVID when I was playing this game. Sorry, I'm being nasty. I apologize. I'm being a nasty boy.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get there. We'll make it there. Yeah, so you just have to beat enough monsters. I think all of them the level. And it's not usually that hard to find all of them.
Yeah, and they say like there's 7 monsters left.
Right.
So it lets you know. It's like it's not trying to be difficult with
Obtuse,
that. Yeah, it's not trying to be obtuse. It's giving you all the answers.
And then I think it usually after about like 5 or 4 levels, there's like a boss of some sort that you have to fight.
There's there's the big boss. So it's like there's like worlds, and each world has like 3 or 4 levels, and the last level has a big boss.
Yeah. So that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna say some stuff I liked.
All right, let's hear it.
Blinx the Timesweeper.
What? You want me to start?
Yeah, can you go ahead?
I liked the world building.
Whoa, really?
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty out there concept that they created for this game.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I can get behind this world where it's like maybe not like that it's a bunch of cats, and that I can't understand what they're saying and I have to read subtitles, but
sure
that there is some like governing time agency that like monitors the timelines. It felt very much like Loki.
Yeah,
to me,
exactly.
Which was interesting. I'm like, wow, they're kind of ahead of their time with this. So I actually did enjoy the premise, I guess, more than the world building. The premise of it and just the setting. I thought was interesting. I didn't think that was bad. I was watching that beginning cutscene. I'm like, okay, you have me, Blinx. You have me. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the intro definitely was kind of fun. It's like outlandish and wild that they're just like, this is what it is.
Yeah, they're just out of nowhere.
That's cool.
That's me. I'm Blinx. I'm just walking around. I always love it when games do that, or just any medium does that.
Explicitly call out, "This is me."
That's me, the narrator, Blinx. That's how I think Blinx would sound if he was speaking English.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, nice.
I think he would be like Aziz Ansari.
I mean, he has a voice in the game.
I mean, yeah, but
it's just something else.
It's the weird non-human language was throwing me off quite a bit. Like, what is going on?
It was pretty bizarre, the like comparison between the like marketing of Blinx and the actual game itself, because like by the cover of this game you think he would have some attitude, but he's kind of just like a cute little guy. He's kind of just like a cute little cat.
Yeah, he's a little bean.
Yeah, but in the game he's like, I'm gonna do the DreamWorks face and you're gonna like it. I got this fucking vacuum, dude.
I'm a little rascal.
I'm a little scamp, and I'm gonna sweep some stuff up. Whereas like, in the game he's kind of just like, I don't know, awooga, and I'm a cute little cat. I'm gonna go save this world now.
I'm gonna go awooga and save the world.
Classic cat himbo. Yeah.
Classic cat himbo. Blinx the cat himbo.
I think that the ideas around the time powers are super cool. Like there are a couple of spots where like the game is like, hey, there's a collapsed bridge here when it just collapsed. And you're like, I bet I know what to do here.
Yeah.
And like rewinding time in that situation is pretty cool. I wish the game was more based around it though.
Sure.
I wish it was just that, because that stuff I find like super duper interesting, and like the like having to solve a problem or like a puzzle with the stuff that you get is interesting. Whereas I think it's mostly just used for combat in this game. Slowing down or pausing time is mostly just used as a way to yeet barrels at slime monsters, which it's not like a terrible way to apply that. But I was just, whenever I solved the puzzle with the time stuff, I was like, oh man, I wish this was it. This is cool as fuck.
Yeah, that was just more of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, most definitely I did. I feel like that's where the game shined the most.
Yeah.
Was when they made you use your time powers in a certain way. Like
Mm-hmm.
to solve the puzzles or to fight people or anything like that, or just use them in general. But it was somewhat frustrating to get the correct layout of time crystals, which was frustrating.
Oh, it's so rough.
Because it was hard for me to line Blinx up to get the right one. Yeah. And I oftentimes would get the wrong ones and I would have to start over or like just be SOL because I did 4 of none that actually matched up. Because you can only collect 4 at a time. Right. And 3 have to match to get that power. So if you get 2 and 2, you just lose none all of those gems, and they don't respawn or anything. You just don't get them. Just don't get them.
It's a truly bizarre way to structure it.
It was interesting. It was weird to pick up a lot of like shining objects in a game and then get a bad sound afterwards. You know, like so many years of Mario have just trained me to be like, I just need to collect all of these things and I get good sounds. And I'm like, what are these? What? I'm doing a bad thing? I did something bad?
Yeah, you fucked up.
So it was, I kind of appreciated that in a weird way of like, it's trying to like make me play differently.
Yes.
But it's a hard sell to make me play that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's like they're trying to teach you not to jump over the Goomba in a way. Like,
yeah, they're trying to tell me not to save the princess.
Fundamental lesson. Yes. Which like other games have done. They've like almost every game has taken the core tenets of Mario and flipped them on their head, right? Yeah. Like Braid said, like, what if you did not save the princess? What if you were just a total shithead? Or Undertale is like, maybe you don't just fight everything that you come in contact with. Mm-hmm. And Blinx the Timesweeper is like, what if you didn't just pick up anything you saw? But it doesn't feel quite as good as those other games.
I am a cat. I like shiny things.
I'm literally sweeping, dog. Like, let me pick up all the stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. Like when I was playing it, I was like, why don't they want me to do the game? Mm-hmm. Like I like the parts of the game when they like let me off the leash a little bit.
Yeah, that was one of the more frustrating things because it's like the part of the game that I enjoy is using the time powers.
Yeah,
but it was hard to get the right ones.
Make you jump through a bunch of hoops.
What else did I like about this game? Did you have anything else to say about those?
I like the sounds when you did the powers. The like sound when you rewound time was pretty fun.
You know, they were good rewind sounds.
Yeah.
Or like pause sounds, how things kind of like, I like how the screen color would change.
Yeah, great presentation.
Great use of filters. I like that they included a vacuum. There's not many vacuum games beyond Luigi's Mansion.
And this one, yeah.
I feel like they saw Luigi's Mansion. They're just like, vacuums are the hot thing now. Let's do it. Put a vacuum on this cat.
This cat needs a cume.
A cume?
Yeah.
Ooh, careful there, my friend. Careful.
I omit one U.
What did she say earlier, too, that sounded? Oh, I'm not going to say it.
I forget. The brain fog is gone.
It's fine. You can brain fog that one. It's not worth it. It's not worth going back.
Yeah, no, love the vacuum. Love that.
I don't think there's enough games that let you suck.
You can't tell me not to say cume and then immediately follow it up with that. You just can't.
I knew the hypocrisy when I said it, Chase.
Sure. Yeah.
That was part of the reason why. Just to troll you,
a nice
baby.
little bit.
Just to troll you,
good.
Baby.
That's good.
But no, honestly, there's a lot of games where you push things. There's not a lot of games
pull.
where you pull things and then push them.
That's true.
It's the pull and then a push. Yeah. So I
love that. This game has Sonic written all over it to me. It feels like Sonic.
The whole thing feels like you don't go fast. How does it feel like Sonic if you don't go fast?
Not the actual like gameplay of it, but just like the tone and the attitude that is coming with it. It all just feels kind of Sonic-y.
No, you're totally right. The creature loving a human.
Yeah,
very
true.
Sonic.
Yeah, very Sonic. The Scampy Batitude.
The Scampy Batitude. He's the master of something. Sonic is the master of speed. Blinx is the master of time. I can only assume.
Is that what they call him? The master of speed?
I mean, it is now.
Okay.
Sonic, the master of speed. That's a cool name.
Yeah, it is pretty sick.
I mean, would anybody argue with you called Sonic the master of speed? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah. I'm just staring at the cover of this beautiful video game, man, and I want to feel, David.
It's been so long since I felt anything.
I feel like it is so easy to pick out stuff that is really good about games, and man, Blinx has taken me for a ride on this one.
You know what I did enjoy, actually?
What's that, David?
One hit kills.
It is nice, yeah.
Is Blinx the Dark Souls of action platformers? I just thought it was an interesting choice. It's like, okay, it's like you don't get lives, you get retries.
Yeah.
And then
if you take one hit
and you're dead technically. Right. So I thought that was big time. That was a big time move by Blinx to say one hit and you're dead. These time monsters don't mess around, man.
Yeah,
you gotta take this seriously. And if you don't, or if you just can't manage the camera well, shit out of luck.
Yeah.
So I kind of did. I respected that decision.
Yeah, they made you play the game. They're like, you're not gonna be able to just walk through this thing.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, Blinx, I see you, Blinx. I see what you're going for.
I bet it's a pretty uncomfortable experience to be rewound from death.
I can only imagine that having your soul put back into your body isn't a pleasurable experience.
Yeah, Blinx the Soul Reaver, dude. Maybe that's what Soul Reaver was about.
The Soul Reaver.
Blinx the fell beast.
Surprised we haven't made that joke yet, but I feel like he's too cute to be an old one.
Blinx, herald of Chet.
He does have kind of an unassuming air to him. So yeah, it's totally possible that he's like a friend of Chet's.
Friend of Chet.
I've alluded to it enough times now. Why don't I just come out and say it? I appreciate that Blinx is kind of cute in the game. A cute little kitty.
He's a cute cat.
He's a cute little kitty.
He's got a good design.
The cover of the game would not lead you to believe it. I will say the cover of the Japanese Blinx the Timesweeper is much better than the American version.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got DreamWorks face on.
All right, he's got the little smirk.
Cover. They made a Blinx too, and there's a pig. Do we have to play this one too?
I was just assuming that we would, which is why I've sort of been down because I knew what was coming. There's more.
Do they have a Blinx 3?
Lordy, I hope not.
Blinx 3D.
Blinx is already in 3D. Why would I need to be in 3D again? But yeah, the Japanese cover is a lot better. He looks a lot more like himself in that game.
Yeah, he looks more like a cat.
The cat, yeah.
Blinx, sometimes he gets close to looking like the cat bus from Totoro.
Yeah, you're right.
Which is somewhat frightening to me.
Mm-hmm.
That thing always terrified me as a child.
Oh, you weren't a fan of Cat Bus?
No, dude. Cat Bus was spooky to me as a kid.
I liked Cat Bus.
I mean, I know he's a friend, but he doesn't never look like a friend to me.
The smile is a little menacing.
He looked like a beast.
He looked like a bus.
Like a bus. So what do we say we liked? We liked the time abilities. We liked the kind of setup for the story. I liked the Dark Souls-ness of the game. No dodge roll, but
I like Blinx.
And we like Blinx.
I like Blinx.
There's potential with Blinx.
Yeah.
I think it's really just more gameplay.
The game.
It's just the game. You know, honestly, I think that if the camera I was able to actually control it, that would have remedied a lot of my gripes with it, because it was so difficult to just control it baseline. That's what made it hard to get all of the correct jewels and use the powers that I wanted to use. So I think that would be like an easy fix if they want to do a Blinx remaster. And then also sometimes I felt like they took control of the camera away. They did, which was confusing. Mm-hmm. So honestly, I feel like if they changed that, the game would have played a lot more smoothly, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think Blinx himself was a little stiff, like moving around.
Definitely.
And so, like,
the jumping felt a little clunky. A little clunky. For a cat, he didn't jump very well.
I watched a stream of Tim Rogers when he was playing through that most recent Dragon Ball Z game. I don't know. It's been a while since it was out. Yes, exactly. And he said that he and his game friends used to describe jumps like the one that is in Kakarot as programmery. Like, it just literally shifts you up and down, and there's not a lot of momentum behind it.
Sure.
It's sort of what Blinx felt like. If they just need you to move up and down rather than it feeling like a good jump.
Sure.
In the way that Mario feels like a good jump, where there's you kind of hang at the top a little bit, and it feels like the right height, and you kind of have control over yourself in the air. Whereas Blinx is just up and down. You go up and down.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, it's real. I don't want to dunk on this game. It would be easy to do so.
Sure.
But that's the thing that people do with this game. And I think it is good. Like I think if they just polished this a little bit more, it could have been like, oh, that was a pretty good game that was out on Xbox.
Yeah, I'm trying to frame my gripes as constructive criticisms.
Yeah.
As like, if you change this that would really help this thing that I had a bigger issue with, and that would have really made the game play more smoothly. Yeah. Which I think is fair. I think there is something decent underneath here, honestly. There's something there. There's something there that's made some executive go, yes, Blinx is going to be our guy.
I think money. I think they were hoping for money.
Oh, yes, of course.
I mean, maybe we'll see in Blinx Masters of Time and Space if it's any good.
I mean, if we are looking at a mascot fulfilling its duties as being memorable,
definitely memorable.
Blinx the Timesweeper is a fire name. Everybody remembers Blinx, even though he had 2 fairly mediocre to not so good games. So I think there was some method to their marketing madness when they chose Blinx as their new mascot.
Yeah.
Right? Am I crazy to think that?
No. Yeah, you're right. I think, like you had mentioned before we started recording, though, they definitely should have gone with Blinx the Rhyme Sweeper. I think that would have been...
I would have capitalized so much more on the youth at the time.
It would have capitalized. I think Blinx would have been a hit.
Make it a Parappa the Rappa clone instead of a platformer. Or a platformer with Parappa the Rappa battles in it instead. Blinx the Rhyme Sweeper.
Really tempting, David. That's all very tempting.
I think that'd be a fun game.
Yeah, I agree.
Fun game. Rapping cat thing. Is he a cat?
They never come out and say it. It looks like Blinx 2 is not on Game Pass, which...
That's a bummer. Release Blinx 2, you cowards. Does it have better or worse reviews?
It's about the same.
They added a pig.
They added a pig, which every game needs.
I know. They went away from the fat pig and they went with buff pig. Let's see how it pans out.
It says it's just a TomTom, just one of them.
TomTom gang.
On their mission to prevent a threat, which will result in global catastrophic risk.
Catastrophic.
At the end of the game, the player also becomes included with a team which must go to a mysterious part of an alternate universe to defeat the Scissor Demon.
Oh my god. Is it that other game we played, Clockwork?
It's a Clock Tower
Clock
sequel.
Tower? Oh man. Whoa. Okay. That's a crossover I could do. I feel like Blinx could fit into Clock Tower.
Absolutely.
That big smile.
Once the Scissor Demon is defeated, it dissolves. The screen fades to brightness, at which point the Angel thanks the Timesweepers and the TomToms for their effort. Anyway, COVID is tearing me down. And
I was about to say, you seem to be deteriorating a little bit.
I honestly can't tell you if it's Blinx or COVID, David.
I think it's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both. It can be both.
It can be both.
Great game.
I hear you.
Okay, great.
Cool.
Goodbye, Blinx.
See you, Blinx.
Hello, listeners. You can talk to us on Twitter if you would like to talk to us. That's probably the easiest place to do it. If you're feeling so compelled... Oh, wait. The name of that handle is @Podtimism. You can do that there.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to reach us via email, you can do that podtimism@gmail.com. You can shoot us one of those old-fashioned emails. Say, what's up?
What's up?
Send you a link to a Homestar Runner video.
Oh, my God. That is the audience that would use email nowadays.
Email. Yeah, no, exactly. Let's see. If you want to help the show, there are a few things you can do. You can leave a review on one of the podcasting places. You can shout that into the void at Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
The void.
Either one will let you do it. I don't know why I was so pessimistic about that. It does us a great service to do that. Yeah. So I don't know
that
why.
was the COVID brain talking.
Yeah, that's the brain fog coming in, baby. Which I've seen a few people do on Happy Podcasts. So thank you for that. Appreciate you. Good looking out.
Yeah.
Let's see. You can also show it to a friend or, share it on the internet. That is a thing that has been done recently. So thanks for those of you who have done that. Appreciate you. Shouts out.
Mm-hmm.
It helps a great deal because like I said, it's rare that I go through charts in a podcast and I'm like, wow, these all look really good. I'll listen to all of them. But very frequently, somebody who I trust will be like, hey, have you listened to Ira Glass's new podcast about Blinx the Timesweeper? And I will say no, but I would like to. And then I'll go listen to that.
Can you give me a little bit of Ira Glass doing a Blinx review?
See, he comes in a very odd position, my friend Blinx, because in every situation, all the other Timesweepers, also cats, are running away, which doesn't make it makes sense materially, right? Like you need to run away from the danger, but at the same time, our hero is going directly into it, potentially because he would like to lay with a human in a way that satisfies him.
The beast with two backs.
But at the same time, there's something compelling about that, and something that I think we can tell about an hour of podcast about. This is This American Blinx. Stay with us.
This Ira Glass just came into Chase's house and just took the microphone from him. Yeah. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the Ira Glass. It's so much of the cadence. You have the cadence down for Ira.
I don't think my voice is particularly like his very much, but yeah, there's a rhythm to his voice that is so specific.
This guy at This American Life's.
So yeah, you can share the podcast with a friend. A couple of thank yous. The first, Scout Out of the Week. Thank you, Scout.
Scout Out.
For this incredible goddamn artwork.
It's so good.
The art's so nice. I looked at it twice, okay?
Maybe even thrice?
Probably thrice. Nice. I'm looking at it right now. Looks great. Love the sunflowers. Mm-hmm. Can't overstate it enough how goddamn cool the sunflowers are. Also, thank you, person who is listening to this. You do us a great favor by being here and spending your hard-earned time with us. We appreciate that. That's awesome. David and I love making this podcast, and so it is it's sometimes shocking and also very cool that people also enjoy listening to
it.
Sure
is.
So thank you for that. Yeah, so I support your day today. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to do great.
Yeah, I know you're going to do great.
Thank you, David.
I know it.
Hey, do you have some gaming wisdom to lead us out here?
I do.
What's that?
No matter how badly you want to save a person that you've only ever just seen for a split second, it's probably a good idea to not run towards an explosion. It's probably a bad idea. This is what we call plot armor, children.
Yeah.
Blinx has some plot armor, so don't think that you should run towards an explosion if the authorities are telling you that that's a bad idea. Because
even if you do go awooga,
even if you make a woo guys, it's not worth it.
The world needs to be quarantined to protect the great timeline. I don't know if that's what they called it.
I don't know. What I got from it was the world was blowing up and they were closing the portal so that the explosion didn't come into their headquarters or something. I don't know.
Dude, those cats were freaking out.
Those cats were on
get the fuck out of here.
3.
Yeah, we're going to destroy this planet to protect ourselves.
Were they destroying it, or was it just getting destroyed by the monsters?
Yeah, I think they were just going to cut it off, from their base or whatever.
What a catastrophe!
So anyway, yeah, no matter how cool you think it would be to go save the princess, maybe just relax and let somebody do their job.
Your life matters.
Yeah, damn, it does.
Your life matters.
And there's plenty of people to awooga here.
There's plenty more awoogas in the sea.
Find somebody who awoogas like you would want to be awoogad.
Ooh. Find your awooga mate.
Go hang out with your awooga pal.
Awooga pal.
Do you want to come over later and Netflix and awooga?
I mean, that's honestly more suggestive than Netflix and chill.
Yeah, no, it is, isn't it? It's a lot less of a euphemism in there. Hey, listen. This is all super cool and super fun. I think my brain is going to leak out of my ears if I record any more moments of the podcast. So,
go get some rest, my friend.
Thank you. Hopefully by the next time we record, I'm just fucking super podcaster and no problem. I can talk about burning Rangers or whatever we do next.
Now, the next 3 months of yours, baby, you got immunity now.
That's true.
You're safe.
Yeah. I'm going to go lick some walls.
Just enough time. Be ready to catch COVID again for your bachelor party.
I know. Yeah. It's awesome. I love that. Okay. We'll see you, listener, next week.
All right.
Well, actually, you'll hear us. We won't see you. That's not how this works.
You'll hear us. We will feel your presence.
I feel the presence of God in this Chili's. All right. Bye.
See ya.